There's this feeling that you've probably experienced, a feeling that's hard to describe but impossible to ignore. It's not anxiety, though it lives in the same neighborhood. It's not depression, though it shares some of the same weight. It's this sense that you're waiting for something big, something important, something that will make everything make sense. But you can't name it, you can't describe it, you can't even picture what it is. You just know deep in your bones that something is coming, something needs to happen, something is missing, and so you wait. You go through your days, checking the boxes, doing the things, living your life, but underneath it all, there's this constant hum of anticipation, this feeling of being on the edge of something without knowing what that something is. This isn't random, this isn't meaningless, and you're not crazy for feeling it. This feeling has a purpose, and understanding it might be the key to everything you've been searching for. You wake up, and before your eyes are even fully open, it's there. That feeling, that sense that today might be the day something changes, or maybe tomorrow, or next week, but soon. It has to be soon. You check your phone like you're expecting a message that will change everything. You refresh your email like there's an opportunity hiding in your inbox. You scroll through social media like you're searching for a sign, a clue, an answer to a question you haven't quite figured out how to ask. You're restless, but it's not the kind of restlessness that comes from boredom. It's deeper than that. It's a soul-level restlessness, a feeling that you're supposed to be somewhere else, doing something else, being someone else. But where? What? Who? You don't know. And not knowing is driving you crazy. You look at your life from the outside, and it looks fine, maybe even good. You have things, you have people, you have routines and responsibilities and reasons to be grateful. But inside, you're waiting. Always waiting for what you can't say, but the feeling won't leave you alone. The myth of someday, part of what makes this feeling so confusing, is that we've been conditioned to believe that our lives will start someday. We've been told that we're always waiting for the next thing. Wait until you graduate, then your life will start. Wait until you get that job, then you'll feel fulfilled. Wait until you meet the right person, then you'll be complete. Wait until you make more money, then you'll be happy. Wait until you lose the weight, then you'll feel confident. Wait until. And so we wait. We hit one milestone and immediately start waiting for the next one. We achieve one goal and instantly feel like something's still missing. We get what we thought we wanted and realize the feeling didn't go away, because the truth is, you're not waiting for an external thing. You're not waiting for a circumstance to change or a person to arrive or an achievement to unlock. You're waiting for yourself, the real you, the you that's been buried under expectations and conditioning and fear, the you that knows what you actually want but has been too scared to admit it, the you that has dreams you haven't dared to speak out loud. That's what you're waiting for. That's the unnamed something. It's not out there, it's in here, and it's trying to get your attention. Your soul has been sending you signals, breadcrumbs, whispers, nudges, and that feeling of waiting for something you can't name, that's your soul's way of saying, pay attention. Something needs to change. You're meant for more than this, but you've been ignoring it, or maybe you've been hearing it but not listening. Because listening would mean acknowledging that something in your life isn't aligned. And acknowledging that means you'd have to do something about it. And doing something about it is terrifying. So instead, you wait. You tell yourself that clarity will come. Eventually, that you'll figure it out someday, that the thing you're waiting for will reveal itself when the time is right. But the time is right now. The thing you're waiting for is waiting for you to stop waiting and start moving. That unnamed something isn't going to knock on your door. It's not going to announce itself with a trumpet and a spotlight. It's already here inside you, waiting for you to finally listen. Deep down, you probably know what you're waiting for, or at least you have clues, hints, gut feelings that you've been pushing away. Maybe you're waiting for permission to leave that relationship that stopped serving you years ago. Maybe you're waiting for courage to quit that job that's draining your soul. Maybe you're waiting for validation to pursue that dream that feels too big or too selfish or too impossible. Maybe you're waiting for proof that you're good enough, talented enough, worthy enough to want more from life. Maybe you're waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to change, to grow, to want different things than you wanted 5 years ago. Maybe you're waiting for life to get easier before you take the risk. Maybe you're waiting to feel ready. Maybe you're waiting to stop being scared. But here's the thing, naming what you're waiting for is scary. Because once you name it, you can't pretend you don't know anymore. Once you name it, you have to decide whether you're going to do something about it or consciously choose to stay where you are. And both of those options feel terrifying. So you keep it unnamed, vague, undefined, because as long as you can't name it, you don't have to face it. As long as it stays mysterious and unclear, you can keep waiting without taking responsibility for your own life. There's a heaviness that comes with this feeling, a weight that sits on your chest and makes it hard to breathe sometimes. That weight has a name. It's called unlived life. It's all the things you haven't done, all the words you haven't said, all the chances you haven't taken, all the versions of yourself you haven't allowed to exist. Every time you ignore what you know you need to do, that weight gets heavier. Every time you choose safety over truth, comfort over growth, approval over authenticity, the unlived life inside you grows. And that feeling of waiting for something you can't name, that's the unlived life demanding to be lived. That's all the potential inside you pressing against the walls of your current reality, trying to break free. You feel like you're waiting, but you're not. You're holding back. You're stalling. You're standing at the edge of your own life, too scared to jump, but too awake to pretend everything's fine. And the longer you stand there, the heavier it gets, the more exhausting it becomes to carry all that unlived potential around with you every single day. Here's the paradox. You're blessed with potential, with possibilities, with dreams and desires and callings. But that blessing can become a prison if you never act on it. Because potential that stays potential forever is just torture. It's like being hungry with a feast in front of you, but never taking a bite. It's like being thirsty next to a river, but never drinking. It's like having wings, but never flying. You have all this capacity for more joy, more purpose, more impact, more authenticity, more life. And you know it. You can feel it. That's why you feel like you're waiting. Because some part of you knows that this isn't all you're capable of. But knowing you're capable of more and actually doing more are two very different things. And staying stuck in the knowing without the doing creates this constant state of tension, this feeling of incompleteness, this sense that you're living in the preview of your life instead of the actual movie. You're waiting for the real thing to start, but the real thing is waiting for you to start it. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is, when the timing is right, I'll know. Or when I'm ready, it'll be clear. Or when it's meant to happen, it'll happen. These are comforting lies because they take the pressure off. They let us keep waiting without feeling guilty about it. They make our inaction feel like wisdom instead of fear. But the truth is, there's never a perfect time. There's never a moment where all the stars align and every fear disappears and every doubt is resolved and you feel 100% ready and certain. The right time is usually the moment when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of change. The right time is when you finally decide that you can't waste another day living someone else's life or pursuing someone else's dreams or being someone you're not. The thing you're waiting for isn't a better time. It's not more information. It's not external validation. It's not a sign from the universe. It's a decision. Your decision to stop waiting and start creating, to stop hoping and start doing, to stop wishing for change and start being the change. So let's get real for a moment. Let's try to name the unnamed thing. Because I bet if you're honest with yourself, you know what you're waiting for. You're waiting for your life to feel like it fits, for your days to feel meaningful instead of just full, for your work to feel like purpose instead of just paycheck, for your relationships to feel nourishing instead of draining. You're waiting to feel like yourself, to wake up and recognize the person you've become, to look in the mirror and see someone who's living their truth instead of performing a role. You're waiting for courage, the courage to say what you really think, to want what you really want, to be who you really are, to disappoint people if necessary, to be misunderstood if that's what authenticity costs. You're waiting for permission to change your mind about what you want from life, permission to outgrow who you used to be, permission to want more, to dream bigger, to reach higher. You're waiting for proof that you matter. that your life means something, that you're here for a reason, that you have something unique to offer the world. You're waiting to feel alive, really alive, not just existing, not just surviving, not just going through the motions, but truly, fully, vibrantly alive. That's what you're waiting for. And here's the secret. You don't find that. You create it. You decide it. You become it. The moment everything changes is the moment you shift from waiting for your life to happen to making your life happen, from being passive to being active, from being a spectator to being a participant. This shift doesn't require you to have everything figured out. It doesn't require you to be fearless or certain or ready. It just requires you to take one step, one small, imperfect, scared step toward the thing you can't name but you can feel. Maybe that step is finally admitting to yourself what you really want. Maybe it's having the conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's researching that thing you've been curious about. Maybe it's setting a boundary you've needed to set. Maybe it's saying yes to something that scares you or no to something that's draining you. One step. That's all. Not a leap, not a complete transformation, just movement in the direction of something that feels more true, more aligned, more you. Because here's what happens when you stop waiting and start moving. The unnamed thing starts to reveal itself. The fog starts to clear. The path starts to appear. Not all at once, but step by step, choice by choice, moment by moment. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step, and then the next one, and then the next one. Let's talk about what happens if you don't take that step, if you keep waiting, if you keep telling yourself someday, or when I'm ready, or if it's meant to be. You'll look back one day, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and you'll realize you spent your whole life waiting for a life that never came because you never created it. You'll realize that the thing you were waiting for was always within your reach, but you were too scared or too comfortable or too convinced that the timing wasn't right. You'll realize that the feeling of waiting never went away. It just became your normal. You learn to live with that constant sense of incompleteness, that persistent feeling that something's missing, that eternal hope that someday things will be different. But they won't be different, not unless you make them different. The saddest thing in the world isn't failure. It's not trying. It's getting to the end of your life and realizing you never really lived it. You just waited for it. And I don't want that for you. Your soul doesn't want that for you. That's why it's giving you this feeling, this restlessness, this sense that you're meant for something more. It's not trying to torture you. It's trying to wake you up. If you're waiting for permission, here it is. You have permission to want more from life. You have permission to change. You have permission to disappoint people. You have permission to choose yourself. You have permission to admit that you're not happy even if you should be. You have permission to want different things than you wanted before. You have permission to outgrow jobs, relationships, cities, dreams that no longer fit. You have permission to be messy, imperfect, uncertain, and scared while you figure it out. You have permission to not have all the answers. You have permission to make mistakes. You have permission to be yourself, fully, authentically, unapologetically yourself. Nobody can give you this permission but you. And you've been waiting for someone else to give it to you because that would be easier. That would make it feel less scary. That would mean you're not responsible if it doesn't work out. But nobody's coming to give you permission. Nobody's coming to tell you it's okay. Nobody's coming to make it easy or safe or guaranteed. You have to give yourself permission. And that permission is the thing you've been waiting for. What happens when you stop waiting, when you finally stop waiting and start living, something magical happens. That feeling that's been haunting you, that sense that something's coming, something's missing, something needs to happen, it starts to transform. It doesn't disappear, but it changes from anxiety into excitement, from restlessness into purpose, from waiting into creating. You wake up, and instead of feeling like you're waiting for your life to start, you feel like you're actively building it. You're making choices that reflect who you actually are, not who you think you should be. You're saying yes to things that light you up and no to things that dim your light. You stop checking your phone for some external validation or opportunity and start checking in with yourself. You stop looking for signs and start creating them. You stop hoping for change and start being the change. And that unnamed thing you were waiting for, you realize it was never one thing. It was everything. It was the full permission to live as yourself, to pursue your actual dreams, to create a life that feels like yours. It was freedom. And you were waiting for someone to give it to you when you had the key the whole time. This feeling you've been carrying, this sense of waiting for something you can't name, it's not a burden. It's an invitation. It's your soul inviting you to step into the fullness of who you are. It's life inviting you to stop being a passive observer and become an active creator. It's your future self inviting you to take the first step toward the life you actually want. The feeling won't go away until you accept the invitation, until you stop waiting and start living, until you stop hoping for change and start creating it. And I know it's scary. I know it feels safer to wait. I know it's easier to stay in the familiar discomfort than to risk the unknown. But you weren't put here to be comfortable. You weren't put here to live a small, safe, scripted life. You were put here to become fully yourself and to share that self with the world in whatever way feels true to you. That's what you're waiting for. That's the unnamed thing. It's you. The real, complete, unfiltered, authentic you. And that person, they're waiting for you to stop waiting. Stop waiting. Start living. So here's what I want you to do. Not someday, not when you're ready, not when the timing is perfect. Right now. I want you to get honest with yourself about what you're really waiting for. Name it, even if it scares you, even if it feels impossible, even if you don't know how. Name it, and then take one step, one tiny, imperfect, terrifying step toward it. Not a giant leap, just movement. Just prove to yourself that you're done waiting. Send the email, have the conversation, do the research, set the boundary, say the thing, make the call, take the class, start the project, ask the question, do something, anything. Just stop waiting. Because the thing you're waiting for, it's not coming to find you. You have to go create it. You have to become it. You have to live it into existence. And you can. You absolutely can. The fact that you feel this waiting means you're ready. The fact that you sense something more means it's already inside you, waiting to be born. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for the feeling to go away. It won't go away. It'll just keep getting louder until you finally listen. This is Motivation Thrones telling you the thing you're waiting for is waiting for you. Your real life is on the other side of this waiting. Your authentic self is on the other side of this fear. And you don't have to wait anymore. You never did. The life you're meant to live is available right now. The person you're meant to be is available right now. The courage you need is available right now. Stop waiting. Start creating. Start living. Start becoming. Because you're not waiting for something you can't name. You're waiting for yourself to finally show up. And today is the day that happens.